What relationship does the most famous serialist in the world have, walking an anteater on the street with the Dali company? No, not at all. Dali, Danish, Audiophile, loudspeaker, industrial. And in our language it's easy to translate the Danish company producing speakers. Well, but you know, these columns, they're not simple. Denmark is mysterious for me. Population just under 6 million, many well-known companies. Exercise independent thinking. DIN Audio, JAMA, Audio Vector, System Audio, all from the same Dali brand of audio equipment. One of the most well-known companies that produces ScanSpeak speakers. All of this is from Denmark. I don't understand. Legend says every second person from Denmark is born with perfect hearing and musical fingers, but it's not accurate. And here are our heroes, Dali Oberon 1. These are the initial columns in the Oberon lineup. This is the second line after Spectra. She updated, successors of the Zensror lineup. Amazing rulers in terms of price and quality. Honestly, I liked Zensror and I didn't think they could be improved in this price range. But still, a serious company was given, which unfortunately started making columns not in Denmark but in China. And by the way, here are our samples made in the People's Republic of China. The saddest thing is that even speakers are now made in China. Although Dali has a serious production, this is their flagship factory. They do not buy spare parts somewhere there. So the quality of this company, the product of this company is simply excellent. Today we will learn their strengths and weaknesses and begin with design. It is well made, and what immediately catches my eye is the front plastic plate, which is thick, measuring just under a centimeter. The plate is intended to dampen and suppress distortions. However, the problem lies in the rectangular shape of the columns themselves, as they should have a clever shape to suppress parasitic distortions. Of course it's done. Our budget is not that big, the grill mounting holes are visible. Unfortunately, it's not a magnetic system, but in this budget we didn't expect anything else. This part, look at this metal ring, surrounds our high-frequency speaker, which by the way is 29 millimeters. And that's slightly larger than the usual high-frequency speakers, which on average are exactly 25 millimeters. And here we have 29. The larger area of the tweeter allows for a higher level of sound pressure, and that's logical. Dali says increasing the size of the high-frequency speaker better harmonizes with the mid-range and low-frequency speakers, as the volume is larger and accordingly it can take on a larger frequency range. VG tweeter is very lightweight. According to Dali, it is about twice as light as its competitors. The sound stage of these speakers is very good. They are not tied to the listener. If you move slightly to the left or right, you will hear perfectly where the vocalist is located. Possibly it is because of this ring. White dots can be observed around the fabric dome. What's this? Engineer or designer's work? Why are they here? I don't get it. And below we see a 13-inch mid-low frequency speaker. Look how interesting it is made, what a structure. This paper is manufactured using wood fiber. And similar to the way Salvador Dali created his artworks, every speaker possesses its own distinctiveness. As if the master himself took a brush and somehow painted them like this. I want to say about the bolts. The screws are not screwed in well, they protrude a bit. Most likely this is a manual assembly by the Chinese. I don't know why. And everywhere we see some abbreviations. Dali SMC driver. What does SMC mean? The patented SMC technology is the so-called iron pole terminals of woofers. They are crowned with discs made of a soft magnetic compound, which is commonly known as SMC. This technology should reduce the mechanical distortions that actually come from these very speakers. The mid-low frectu speaker also has a metal rim. In general, the columns here look quite complex with numerous different components. This signifies that the engineers have put in a lot of effort. And as small but pleasant, the bolt is adorned with Dali signature. They do not just purchase any bolts from the Chinese, but their own branded ones. Let's go from behind. Classic phase inverter. Well, honestly, we didn't expect a front phase inverter. although if it were there, it would be better to hang them, because the manufacturer also provided for wall mounting. We can utilize these columns as front ones, for instance, by connecting them to an amplifier using... In the room there are 10 to 15 SQM, we can put them back to watch movies. In the system there are 5.1, 7.1. Although they are small, I would definitely run them on surround back, so-called. And we can also hang them on the wall as Dolby Atmos speakers, or just some wall-mounted ones. Why use them as Dolby Atmos speakers when Dolby has excellent Altec speakers? Looking into the phase inverter, I recognized Audiophile's essence. Joke. I saw just what was inside, and inside is the rear part of the dynamics. Terminals are good. A slight disappointment. For enthusiasts of bi-wiring, we are only able to connect 2 cables in this case. Good quality. There are no these notorious plugs, so you can immediately insert the banana directly. Please pay attention to the labeling, left and right. Each column has its own purpose, so when you install them, be sure to observe the side. It transpires that the columns are somehow set to their own side. How did this even come about? And what will happen if you turn them over? I will say that I changed and put the right one on the left, and I didn't notice any difference in sound. Good quality grills, but when you put them on, the speakers will definitely sound a little worse. Observe them. In contrast, a child desiring to insert their finger into this high-frequency fabric speaker will likely be unable to do so due to the scarcity of openings, unless they resort to damaging it, such as by cutting or breaking it with a hammer, for instance. Damped clearly. Kindly listen to this sound. May I know who is there? Please enter the room, if you may. Good partitions. It is apparent that the walls are thick. Regrettably, they are covered with film, but we did not anticipate any natural veneer in this location. I spent weeks with these columns, listened in different systems, and I'm ready to announce their rating. Small columns, weighing 4 kilograms, with low sensitivity of 86 dB. They show quite good performance for music. They will suit a few anyway, on the fronts. I probably wouldn't put them in a very small room. Maximum 15 square meters. And if you sit at a distance of about 2 meters, no more amplifier will be required for them. The Denon 800, you know, was not powerful enough to rock them well. Therefore, I would highly recommend considering the Cambridge AXR 100 or even the Cambridge 61, as they are known for their impressive power and performance. If you place something extremely powerful, then naturally the speakers will expand and produce a louder sound. Marantz 8006 enhanced them perfectly, but it's a dissonance. Speakers are too budget for such an amplifier, so no point in using them together. Well, what can we say? Music. 8 points. We deduct 2 points for the bass, because it is really weak. But if you use these speakers in movies, for example, in the rear positions, then it is definitely a 9. Why? Because the sound distribution in the surround sound system is excellent, the stage is magnificent, and these passages in movies, for instance helicopter approaches, or when a person moves behind you, and these speakers are, as an illustration, even merely 2, not 4, the feeling is genuinely plausible, therefore the movie is slightly higher in terms of quality. In terms of design, it is definitely a 9, because it looks fresh, looks good, has its own technical solutions, but these non-magnetic grills are definitely a significant drawback and spoil the appearance. Particularly if you possess white columns, as white columns feature fabric grills that used to be extremely trendy and have a remarkably cool appearance. This drawing, called Scandinavian, which is often used by companies such as Harman Kardon, Bang & Olufsen, is very often applied. The design is fresh and will look decent in almost any room, given a reliable brand, very loved by ours. Russians. Statistics on them show that the columns hardly break, but they are made, again unfortunately not in Denmark, not assembled by Danish guys with their musical fingers, so we lower the score to a 9. In terms of price-quality ratio, I am also ready to give them our 10 points. Why? Well, they are good. They are of high quality, they sound fine, they are great, They have a good soundstage, they are quite versatile in terms of placement, and they offer excellent value for the price. Everything is fine with these columns except for the lower range, but this physics, it cannot be deceived. Such small 13-inch speakers cannot produce good low bass. If you connect them together with a sub, for example, which is connected at a high level, everything will be fine. On the other hand, we linked these speakers to MJ Acoustic, but we essentially failed to coordinate. Sub and these columns, because they are fast enough, they are fast firing and the sub just can't keep up with them. So if you want to buy speakers with a focus on bass, which you will then complement with a subwoofer, then still I wouldn't buy the first Oberon. I would look at the third, or at floor standing speakers. Thus, for jazz enthusiasts who appreciate high quality vocals, 4. They are suitable for electronic music to a certain extent, but once again they are definitely not suitable as speakers for hard rock, for metal genres of music. This is an extremely heavy genre that is practically not played by any producers for a duration of 5 points. In summary, an easy listening column that you can listen to for very small spaces and for an amplifier that pumps just over 50 watts at 8 ohms. If all these factors come together, then undoubtedly Dali Oberon is a good choice.